Welcome to Max Premieres. Today we're counting down the 10 best series to arrive this year on one of streaming's biggest platforms, a list that spans science fiction, drama, action thriller, period romance, and a literary adaptation that's already part of television history. The standard here is real quality, solid writing, genuine audience response, and the kind of conversation these shows actually generated. The opinions are honest and personal. But before we begin, it would mean a lot if you take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for your support. Number 10, Running Point, Season 2. When her brother gets suspended amid a major scandal, the sister of an NBA team owner is suddenly thrown into the president's chair with zero professional sports experience and a whole organization expecting her to know what she's doing while she figures everything out on the fly. That's the setup for this Mindy Kaling sports comedy, and the show uses it to build something warmer and more grounded than any description might suggest. Kate Hudson in the central role brings exactly the right energy to the character, and the series maintains consistent pacing from start to finish. Season 2 deepens the internal conflicts within the team and gets more confident with the lead character's personal life, a clear sign the creative team knows exactly what kind of show they're making. It doesn't reach for more than it is well-executed entertainment with characters you genuinely enjoy spending time with, and in contemporary television, that's harder to pull off than it appears. For switching off and having a good time, this one delivers reliably. Number 9, Avatar, The Last Airbender, Season 2. 4 nations control the 4 elements, but only the Avatar can master all of them and maintain the world's balance. The live-action adaptation of the beloved classic animated series launched its first season, facing the enormous challenge of not disappointing an entire generation that grew up with the original, and it pulled off something few adaptations ever manage, finding its own tone without betraying the spirit of the source material. Season 2 follows Aang and his companions into the Earth Kingdom arc, the most beloved stretch of the original story, searching for an earthbending teacher who turns out to be nothing they expected. The production values increased noticeably from the first season. The introduction of Toph delivers one of the moments fans had been anticipating most, and showrunner Albert Kim's creative voice found its definitive rhythm. The series remains more accessible to new viewers than to purists of the original anime, which is a design decision rather than a flaw, and within that framework it works very well. Worth considerably more than its position on this list suggests. Number 8, Lupin, Season 4. A man raised reading the Arsène Lupin novels becomes a gentleman thief who uses disguise, razor-sharp wit, and meticulous preparation to steal from the powerful and avenge the systematic destruction of his father's reputation. The French series starring Omar Sy became one of streaming's most significant international phenomena in its first 2 installments, exporting a genuinely charismatic character in a format that has virtually no competition in the modern gentleman thriller genre. Season 4 arrives nearly 3 years after the third, with 8 episodes, the longest single installment the series has ever delivered, following Hussein Diop into a bold new chapter after faking his own death to escape his enemies. The show hasn't lost what made it work from the very beginning. The pleasure of watching someone consistently operating 2 full steps ahead of everyone else in the room, the elegant dry humor, and the total creative confidence in its own distinctive tone. For those who discovered it late, there's an entire story richly worth exploring before arriving at this 4th chapter. Number 7, The Night Agent, Season 3. Peter Sutherland is an FBI agent assigned to an emergency line buried in the White House basement that nobody is ever supposed to use until someone does, and everything spirals outward. That's the precise setup for one of the most watched action series in the platform's history. A first season that combined political thriller and high-voltage action with a narrative economy that genuinely earns appreciation rather than just admiration. Season 3 takes the protagonist to Istanbul, tracking a treasury agent who fled with sensitive information, another self-contained arc structured so that it requires 0 prior knowledge to jump straight in and get fully absorbed. The Night Agent doesn't try to reinvent the spy, thriller, genre, or pose profound philosophical questions. It's adult action entertainment with impeccable pacing, clean stakes, and Gabriel Basso in a role that firmly established him as one of streaming's most effective and committed action leads. Each season delivers exactly what it promises, and in a genre that chronically overpromises, that kind of sustained consistency represents a genuine creative achievement. Number 6. The Lincoln Lawyer, Season 5. A Los Angeles defense attorney who operates entirely from the back seat of his Lincoln Town car rather than a conventional office accumulates complicated cases, difficult clients, and a personal code of ethics that somehow coexists with methods that don't always stay strictly inside the rulebook. The adaptation of Michael Connelly's beloved novels has spent several seasons establishing itself as one of the most consistently solid legal dramas on the platform, carefully written, confidently performed, and built around a protagonist, Manuel Garcia Rolfo, as Mickey Haller, who feels completely inhabited by the actor, delivering him in every single scene. The 5th and final season is based on The Law of Innocence, the 6th book in the saga, and finds Haller forced to defend his own innocence against a murder charge with the evidence stacked against him. The closing chapter of a series this reliable always generates genuine anticipation, and this final installment is clearly constructed to meet what its devoted fans have been expecting across multiple seasons. A well-earned farewell for a character the legal drama genre will not easily forget or replace. Number 5. Bridgerton, Season 4. In Regency-era England, aristocratic families compete season after season in a social arena where marriage is the ultimate prize and gossip is the single most valuable currency available to anyone. An anonymous chronicler known as Lady Whistledown documents everything with devastating precision, and the series has moved through different Bridgerton family members and their individual love stories, one season at a time. Season 4 belongs entirely to Benedict Bridgerton, the family's second son, bohemian by nature and deeply commitment-averse, and his growing relationship with the mysterious Lady Silver, a woman of unknown origins whose presence permanently shifts how he understands the world around him. Luke Thompson has spent several seasons carefully building this character from the background with enough genuine charisma to make his full turn as protagonist feel completely and thoroughly earned. Yeren Ha as his romantic counterpart is a casting addition that lands with a naturalness that absolutely should not be taken for granted. The series remains streaming's most popular period romance for reasons entirely rooted in consistent execution. It knows exactly who its audience is and refuses to let them down. Number 4. The Witcher, Season 5. Geralt of Rivia is a witcher, a mutated monster hunter with special abilities navigating a continent where supernatural creatures are every bit as dangerous as the humans who hire him to eliminate them. The series adapted Andrzej Sapkowski's short stories and novels and built a genuinely massive audience through its first 3 seasons, with Henry Cavill in the central role, viewers following this morally complex character with remarkable devotion across multiple years. Season 4 marked Cavill's high-profile replacement by Liam Hemsworth, a transition that divided the fanbase significantly and cost the show a portion of its most loyal viewers, and the 5th and final season arrives, carrying the goal of closing a story that, regardless of the ongoing casting debate, still has more than enough material for a genuinely memorable ending. Hemsworth has the physical presence the character requires and enough total screen time across both seasons to settle his own interpretation into something distinct. If Season 5 successfully reconnects emotionally with viewers who stepped back during Season 4, it has the potential to recover meaningful lost ground. Number 3. His and Hers. A television journalist investigating a murder in her hometown collides with the detective assigned to the case, a man with his own carefully guarded reasons for wanting to control exactly how much information reaches the public. What starts as professional friction gets progressively complicated by a shared personal history that connects them in ways neither fully anticipated. Tessa Thompson and John Bernthal lead this limited series that became the platform's first major cultural phenomenon of the year, spending 7 consecutive weeks at the top of global viewing charts. The reason for that success is genuinely straightforward. 2 first-rate actors with authentic on-screen chemistry, a mystery that maintains real and sustained tension without ever becoming gratuitous, and cinematography that turns virtually every scene into a genuine visual pleasure. This is not television attempting to reinvent anything or change the medium. It is simply among the best things that can happen to a viewer searching for something that grabs them completely from the very first episode and absolutely refuses to let go. Thompson in particular is operating at an entirely different level from almost everything else on television right now. Number 2. 3 Body Problem. Season 2. An alien civilization orbiting 3 suns in a chaotic and deeply unpredictable system decided, after intercepting a signal broadcast from Earth, that the only viable path forward was the total conquest of our planet. The essential catch is that their fleet takes 4 full centuries to arrive, which transforms the story into a civilization-wide race against an enemy whose approach everyone already knows is inevitable. Season 1 of this adaptation of Lou Sixon's celebrated trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones was among the most ambitious creative bets of the year it premiered. Genuinely ideas-driven science fiction operating on a global scale, with characters whose decisions carry weight that ripples through the present in felt and immediate ways. Season 2 moves the story confidently forward, stepping past some of the first season's more divisive elements and deepening the aspects that resonated most strongly with viewers. The production level remains impressively high, and the creative decisions here are noticeably more assured than anything Benioff and Weiss delivered in their Game of Thrones conclusion. Still, among the most ambitious science fiction television has attempted in recent years. Number 1. 100 Years of Solitude. Season 2. 7 generations of the Buendia family founded, inhabited, and slowly watch the mythical town of Macondo come completely undone, a place where the miraculous and the mundane coexist so naturally that nobody finds it particularly remarkable. Season 1 of this adaptation of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Nobel Prize-winning novel was a genuine cultural event, the single most important work of Latin American literature, arriving in audiovisual form in its original language, with a Colombian production that did real and sustained justice to both the magic and the profound tragedy embedded in the source text. Season 2, closing the full story of the Buendia family saga, arrives carrying the considerable weight of concluding something that generations of filmmakers and writers considered fundamentally unadaptable. The relationship between time, memory, and cyclical repetition that sits at the novel's absolute heart remains the series' greatest ongoing narrative challenge, and what the creative team has ultimately done with that challenge will determine whether this adaptation earns its place as a permanent creative benchmark. Given the quality demonstrated in the first installment, the reasons for genuine enthusiasm are substantial. This year proved that the best television doesn't always come from the expected direction, and that one platform can get it right across completely different genres within the same calendar year. There's science fiction that demands real thinking, drama that hits hard, and entertainment that simply delivers exactly what it promises. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. The debate over what deserves the top spot is part of the fun. Let me know in the comments what you think.